Before I begin, I want to tell you all that I'm no outsider to St. Claret College. I'm a member of the governing body. I'm being nominated by the Bengaluru University. So this is as much my college as it is yours. So it's an absolute pleasure to be amongst all of you. I want to thank Father Thomas, Vice Principal as well, for inviting me for this face-to-face meeting. I believe this is the 4th edition. You've had very eminent speakers come and speak to all of you in the past, maybe over the last 1.5 years. My compliments to the management as well as to the student body for organizing such an event, because I see many colleges, they do a wonderful job of teaching theory. Like I mentioned, a very quick background about myself. I schooled in an institution very similar to this, St. Joseph's Boys High School. I'm a very proud Bangalorean. I've been born, brought up, studied, worked all my life in Bangalore. So schooling in Joseph's is something that I'm very proud of. I think that's something I also share. I learned that I share with the Father Principal. We both alumni of St. Joseph's, which I was happy to know. Post my schooling, I joined BMS for my electronics and communication engineering. Those days, of course, I mean, choices for studies were very limited. I heard today that there are courses such as travel tourism, many different sort of courses. When I was growing up, it was very simple. You either did science, commerce, or arts. These were the 3 options we had. If you were relatively smart, you would go into the science stream. If you had a business bent of mind or a fascination for numbers, maybe you did commerce. And of course, there was arts for everybody else. So I got sort of pushed into engineering, not knowing whether I really enjoyed it or not. But having said that, I did my engineering, had a good 4 years, sort of had time to sort of address my other hobbies as well, such as sports. I was playing a lot of squash those days. And my highlight after my engineering was to be recruited from campus to Tata Infotech. Those days, I mean, there were not that many software companies as there are today, or in fact not even that many companies that there are today. I mean, as I was walking in to your lobby, I saw a list of so many companies who are coming here for recruitment. Those days we had a very handful of companies coming to campus. So I was very proud that I was being able to crack the interview and get into Tata Infotech. Of course, now it is merged and it's part of Tata Consultancy Services. But of course, the Tata job was a very coveted job. I got a salary at that time of about 10,000 rupees a month, which was a very princely sum back then. But even when I was working as a software programmer, one of the things that I was not sort of satisfied with was just being a coder or a programmer. I was always interested to know the business side of things. I mean, if I was programming something, how would this software help the client? Would this reduce their cost? Would it make it more efficient? How are the dynamics of the industry in which the company is operating in? Because I felt that I could relate better when I knew the larger vision towards which I was working. I mean, typically you may write a single code, but what you really need to know is that what is the end objective of that single line of code. So I think it kept I was always sort of enamored by the business side of things. Things like people management, deals, challenges, taking important decisions. I felt these were things that were sort of fascinating me. And many a times, I would look at my bosses back then or my superiors and think that, hey, I could maybe do this better than them, I'm sure many of you may have experienced these things in various facets of life, maybe seeing businesses, seeing services, and thought, hey, why, maybe I can do this, better than how it is being done currently. So I was in a similar situation, and therefore I was convinced back then that, look, engineering is not my calling. I know I had spent 4 years time by then, about a year working as a programmer, but I felt that engineering is not my calling. And I felt that I did not want to be a generalist or in one specific vertical. And I thought I rather enjoyed the business side of things or being more like a generalist. And hence I decided to sort of pursue my MBA. I'm basically very lucky to be from a very privileged family. My father, Dr. Ravindra Pai, is a very well-known name in Bangalore, was a very successful entrepreneur back then as well. He has been a pioneer in the field of real estate, not just in Karnataka, but even in India. he had a very, very unique business model of just buying land, adding value and selling land. And in fact, I think he's responsible for coining the term land banking. I mean, now it's quite popular. I mean, people talk about land banking, but back then, I think he's been a pioneer in coining this word land banking. And also in my introduction, they mentioned, as a family, we had also established some very, very successful educational institutions by then under the banner of Vidya Shilp. We had one preschool not very far from here in Hebbal, Bhupasandra, called Vidya Sagar Preschool. And our flagship school was Vidya Shilp Academy in Jakkur. Back then we had roughly about 2,500 students. So when I told my parents that, look, engineering is not something I want to pursue and I want to do my MBA, the question that most people in my family asked is, hey, why do you need to do an MBA? You know, you're anyway going to join the family business, so why should you do an MBA? My father, of course, was very encouraging. He was a big believer in education, primarily because, you know, he again comes from a very, very middle-class family. You know, he lost his father very early on. He had 5 sisters whom he had to get married. So he had a big responsibility. But he, you know, took a plunge into entrepreneurship. I mean, he had, of course, the courage, the grit, which, you know, possibly I've not inherited. You know, but it was fascinating to sort of see him. And he valued the importance of education primarily because not what you really studied. It is not the formulas that you study. It is not the theory that you learn. But I think it's a confidence that it gives you as a person to face the world. And that he kept telling me that, look, I mean, you need, you know, you are going to join the family business. Eventually, you know, I mean, you are going to come here. But you need to, 2 things that he kept telling me. One is that you need to study. Don't join business before you study, because once you taste business, you're not going to come back into education. So he said he was very encouraging of me to do my higher studies. And the second thing, you know, that father would, you know, always insist is that education would always give you a confidence to face the world. You know, you'll never feel, talking to anybody, you will never feel inferior, or you'll never have a sense of, what shall I say, inferiority while dealing with others. You know, so these were 2 things, you know, because of which he was pushing me to do my further studies. But he was very clear. He said, hey, why don't you go to US? Of course, money was not an issue for us. He said, why don't you go to US? There are 1-year MBA courses. You do 1-year MBA course and come and join back. So in my mind, I was prepared, you know, to go abroad, enjoy myself, do a 1-year MBA and come back. And thereafter, one of the days, you know, I mean, just like some of you, you know, a few of my friends and me were sitting in a coffee shop talking about what we wanted to do. And somebody talked about, you know, CAT being one of the toughest entrance tests in the world. I mean, even Harvard University, I believe, you know, I mean, there is it's a 7 or 8% acceptance, whereas in IIM those days, there were only 4 IIMs. There was Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow. Total seats, you know, total intake amongst all 4 IIMs was, I think, 540 or 600 students. And we had over 1 lakh applicants, you know, writing this test. So as we were chatting, they were talking about how it is, you know, pretty much impossible to crack the CAT. And for me, for some reason, that stuck to me, and I took that as a challenge. I said, hey, I mean, you know, why not give it a shot? And if, of course, if this doesn't happen, I'll do, you know, what my father says. I was growing up very average or at best above average student. I was not a topper. I was not a, you know, 95 or 99 percentile student. But I think what I did was I tried to compensate my lack of that ability or intelligence with hard work. I would, you know, pretty much do as the book said. I would come every day, do, you know, I mean, they had those days, you know, we had to learn words, you know, so they used to have like a dictionary which we had to, you know, get acquainted to new words. Every day I would sort of, you know, learn 10 new words. I would do crosswords. I would read current affairs. They, you know, they asked us to read page, I don't know what those days, 5 or something, where the current affairs would come in the newspaper, just to sort of familiarize yourself with current affairs, because these were questions that were used to be asked in the interviews. You know, so I did all of that, and I think I sort of compensated my super intelligence or the genius that may be required with hard work. So one thing I want to tell you all is that, you know, I mean, however intelligent you are, however genius you are, you know, without hard work, nothing is possible. And I would like to quote Thomas Edison, who said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. You know, so it's easy to have a good idea, but to follow through with the idea, to turn it into reality, requires a level of patience and hard work that very few people have it. And that is the reason very few people become successful, because most people sort of wither away in the process. They find it too hard, or people give up. So that is the reason I think that is what separates successful people from people who sort of actually give up or not successful. So for me, because of my hard work, I was successful in cracking CAT, got an offer from all the IIMs. Again, like I said, I'm a proud Bangalorean. I chose IIM Bangalore to be my alma mater and joined IIM Bangalore. Of course, it was a great experience, but at the same time, very humbling experience. When you crack the CAT and you go into the campus the first time, everybody walks in with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody thinks I'm the most intelligent person, in this country. And once you reach the campus, you realize that there are far more intelligent people than you are on campus. So it is sort of quite humbling in that sense. And also, I think the experience was exhilarating because I met very, very diverse people, chartered accountants, history graduates, economics graduates. So it exposed me to a world which I was not previously sort of exposed to. So, of course, I had a great stint there. I did my internship at GE Capital. I think, again, the MC had mentioned this. And post that, I was lucky to, again, get recruited from Oracle, recruited into Oracle from campus. So I was in charge of handling sales for Oracle from South and West. So this time, although I was in a technology company, I was on the sales side of it. And once I started, I really felt that, I'd found my calling. I thought this is the thing I really wanted to do. I mean, deals, talking with people, competition. We had Microsoft selling databases. We had SAP selling enterprise solutions against Oracle. So we had competition. We had, had to deal with office politics, bosses. So it was a whole different world. But I felt I was really cut out for this, and this was really my calling. Of course, having a degree from a prestigious institution, rightly like my father said, it gave me a lot of confidence in dealing with various people, many people way, way senior than me in the industry back then. But it gave me a sense of confidence, because I had, had this sort of background that I was able to sort of really deal with the people, and I was very, very successful. So after 2 years, finishing as one of the, top salesmen for Oracle in the country, I quit Oracle to join my family business. I was very, very clear that eventually I would join the family business because I did have a large platform. So as I mentioned, my father by then, of course, was a well-known figure in the real estate space. But the industry had changed. When he started the business in 1976, primarily dealing in land, to where we were now in 2005, the industry had changed. One of the big inflection points actually was that in 2005, the government opened foreign investment into the real estate sector. There was something called a Press Note 2 that happened, and you had foreign investment coming into the Indian sector. But when I looked at our business, I felt that we were, as a business, not ready for this change. We had a lot of strengths. We had great land parcels, we understood the sector, we had built great relationship with various stakeholders. In real estate, government plays an important part in terms of giving approvals. There are farmers who sell land to us. There are customers who buy from us. All these stakeholders are there, but I felt that the company was not poised to sort of really take advantage of this new sort of change or the new direction in which real estate was moving back in 2005. We had all of 30 employees, no brand to talk about, no consolidated balance sheet, things which institutions would look for. So what I did was in 2007, I set up a new company, started hiring from scratch. In fact, left the legacy of, business behind and start a fresh new office from scratch, hiring people. And to cut a long story short, I think, we were at that time successful in attracting, $75 million from Fortress, which is a large hedge fund, which I believe is one of the largest foreign direct investment that happened in real estate back then. And we also partnered with Goldman Sachs in one of the projects. And today it's the Four Seasons, which you see in near Makery Circle. So that was a project that I partnered with Goldman Sachs, where they invested $100 million. And that is how, this whole real estate platform started. So what I did largely was spend a lot of time in building a world-class team, creating a brand, and establishing systems and processes. Because I felt that if I had to scale, I needed all of this. I needed good people with me. I needed a brand that was recognized, and I had to have systems and processes to be able to scale. So that's how my journey started. So while I obviously had a good platform to begin with, I like to consider myself an entrepreneur, because I moved the business from being a pure play land player into a development company. Of course, in a very short period of time, we've moved to being amongst the top 5 developers in Karnataka. Last year, we had a turnover of about 1,800 crores. This year, we are hoping to double it to about 3,500 crores. Of course, the market also has been very supportive. And as the half year, we are already around 1,300 crores of sales. So we're very, very confident that we're going to be able to achieve this. Even with regards to educational institutions, at that point of time, we were 2 schools with about 2,000 students. We were able to expand the footprint. We are now 5 schools. We have a school in Bengaluru, Vidya Shilp School Bengaluru, Vidya Shilp School Banchankari. We have a Vidya Sagar preschool in JP Nagar. Also, the 6th school is starting in Sarjapur from this year. And also, we have been able to establish a private university, Vidya Shilp University, which has gained a reputation for being amongst India's best interdisciplinary universities. I think they're going to get a great name over the next 3 to 4 years, doing some fantastic work, great professors, good faculty. So this has really been my professional journey. So over the last 20 years or so, my professional entrepreneurial career, there have been many a learning which I would like to sort of really share with all of you. While I'm talking about it from an entrepreneurial point of view, I don't think it's very different for any career you choose, In fact, most successful professionals that I have met have had an entrepreneurial mindset. They approach their work as if they're business owners. So I don't think the learnings that I'm going to share, although from an entrepreneurial point of view, is going to be applicable to you as well as professionals. So for me, the most important, most defining trait has been initiative. Especially as an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss or you don't have a manager looking up at you. But even as a professional, I don't think you need to do something just because your manager is seeing or your boss is sort of overlooking. I think you need to take initiative. Like I mentioned during my time with the Tata, I was interested in sort of knowing beyond what my scope was. So I think be curious about it. Try to learn. Even if it's one job, don't be satisfied by saying, I'm just going to do this. Ask the question, why am I doing this? Why is this important? How is this going to impact? Who is going to impact? So I think that is very, very important. So initiative is something that I urge all of you to sort of really take. The second point, of course, it's how much ever I repeat is not enough, is hard work and discipline. I think nothing gets accomplished without hard work and discipline. You can have lofty goals, you can have great ideas, but if you don't back it up with hard work and discipline, nothing's going to happen. And I think the third one really is perseverance. Because let me assure you, all of you will soon be stepping into a professional world. Some of you may be starting your own businesses. One thing I can guarantee you is that all of you are going to face failure. Any successful entrepreneur you can talk to, any successful businessman you can talk to, any successful professional you can talk to, I can guarantee you that all of them have faced failure. But I don't think failure is what is defining somebody. I think how they react to failure, how they're able to sort of bounce back from failure, the perseverance to say that I'm going to sort of overcome this. I think that is very, very critical. And I want to sort of give a small example of Walt Disney, the founder of the world famous Media Corporation amusement park. I'm sure all of you have heard of him. He was turned down 302 times. Mind you, it's not 1, 2, 3. Many of us by maybe 5, 6 times. Most patient people maybe 10 times. He's taken his business proposal 302 times. I think 302 times he's been turned down, and 303rd time he gets successful. And today, as they say, rest is all history. So now, having spoken about maybe 2, 3 important qualities that I felt are important as an entrepreneur or as a professional, I want to also talk about maybe what are the, how do you become an entrepreneur? I think, and why I want to stress a little bit on entrepreneurship is that during lunch, father was telling me that all of you have aspirations of a very high-paying job, after this campus. But my sincere suggestion is that, don't discount becoming an entrepreneur or starting your own business. Don't be shy of starting something on your own. I think today there are so many opportunities compared to when I was your age or when I was studying. And we have enough and more, companies to sort of show in Bangalore. I think largest 50% of India's unicorns are in Bangalore. So multiple opportunities that are there. So don't shy away from starting your own business. But when you want to start something on your own, I think what is most important is that, you need to have a very strong business idea. That is the germination for you to start anything. If you want to start something, you need to have a great business idea. But a good business idea is not just making money. Many people, if I ask them, hey, why do you want to start a business? Because I want to make money. Yes, money is an end goal. Money is important for the business to be sustainable. But money cannot be the reason for you to start the business. You need to have a bigger goal. You need to have a bigger purpose. Why do you want to start the business? How is this business going to sort of affect you? What problem is this business going to solve? And what is the reason for existence for your business? Why is your business existing? And then the bigger the problem or larger the number of people is going to affect, better the idea in my mind, So you need to have a very, very large purpose. And to cite a few examples, when Microsoft started, they said that we are going to have a computer on every desk in every home. I mean, imagine how grand a vision. He's starting one computer, but he's saying that I'm going to have this computer at every home and every desk. So that was a grand vision Microsoft started with. Or, many of you may have heard TED. It's a leading media organization. Their purpose is ideas worth spreading. It's not about saying, oh, I'm going to give a speech. No. They are saying that it is ideas worth spreading. It's a much grander vision. And think about the Apple campaign, think different. People who are crazy enough to think different are the ones who can actually make a change. So today, Apple is not just a product or a brand. Apple has become a cult today. So I think these, if you have a very big purpose, something which you feel that, is going to change the world, I think go for it. It's going to be tough. It's the harder way, but I'm telling you, it will be much more satisfying. I can take my own example. I have my peers from IIM who are in very, very leading jobs. Some of them are CEOs, MDs in multinational companies. Of course, they're all doing extremely well. But when I look at my own journey, the jobs that I'm able to create, the buildings that I'm able to build, which are going to stand for generations, I'm telling you, it's a lot more satisfying than it is for somebody who's in the professional sphere. So my sincere request is, please don't discount entrepreneurship. If you get a good job, great. If you don't get a job, don't worry about it. I think you're destined for better things. Come up with a good idea, and I'm sure you'll be very, very successful about it. One of the other things that I would urge you as budding professionals, entrepreneurs, is read from successful people, because end of the day, experience is something that you have to only gain through experience to be successful. So read other people's story, read autobiographies, read biographies. A good book I would recommend is Start With Why, written by Simon Sinek. It talks about a purpose. It questions what you really want to do. So read a lot, gain experience from all these things. The second ingredient, I feel to be a successful entrepreneur, is to build a strong team. I spoke about it a little bit before, but the reason I'm trying to tell you this is that it's virtually impossible for any one individual to have all attributes required to be successful in business. Some may be very good in sales, but poor in finance. Some may be having great ideas, but cannot translate it, cannot implement it. Nothing wrong with it, it's fine. All I'm trying to tell you is that it's important for each of you to understand where does your strength lie. What is my strength? And then complement it with people who are able to, address your weaknesses. Where you feel you're not strong, get people to sort of complement it, and teamwork is critical. Build a solid team, because that is really going to be very, very useful as you build your career or your organization. The third attribute, and this is very, very key in my mind, that all of you should master is people skills. It's a soft skill, but I think it's the most important skill, and I don't know how this is being taught in colleges, but it's more real life. But I think people skills is essential, because you are going to end up dealing with customers, employees, your juniors, your seniors, vendors, other stakeholders, and getting your point across. With tact, getting your point across with diplomacy is very, very important. So people skills is very, very critical, and for me, I also think running a business, while I'm a boss, it's important that I command respect and demand respect. I need to get my point of view. I need to carry people together. So I think that's very, very important as a skill, and I urge all of you also to sort of develop it. You have to sometimes be decisive, without hurting somebody's sentiments. I think you need to be empathetic in today's world. All this is important. So I think people skills is very, very key. And the last, and the most important aspect in my mind is to nurture a strong network. So when I say network, don't go to LinkedIn and just select whoever is inviting you, or have 1,000 contacts, or go around collecting, visiting cards. What I mean by network is that have very, very deep and meaningful relationships. Invest in people, invest in relationships. Find out who is the influencer in the industry you are. Who are the movers and shakers in the industry. Get to know them, take time from them. People are happy to share their knowledge. So don't be scared. We are sometimes hesitant to go talk to somebody and ask questions or favors. Please, I'm telling you that, in fact, as an entrepreneur, I'm very happy when people come and ask me, for guidance. I'm happy to sort of mentor people, because people also want to give back to the community, So don't have this thing in your back of your mind that you should not go approach people. So I think it's very important to build your network. In fact, I read somewhere today that your net worth today is equal to your network. So what your network is what your net worth is going to be. So I think, so attend as many conferences. I know I was told that this is a purely voluntary event. So all of you are here. I'm assuming that all of you have all the traits that I've already mentioned. But attend conferences, attend meetings, maybe even marriages, social gatherings, because you don't know where you're going to meet, these people. You don't know where you're going to meet your next mentor. So I think it's very, very important that you spend time investing in relationships. The payoff may not be immediate, but let me tell you that a relationship or a reference is worth a lot of demos or presentations that you can make. So please invest in it. So this really is my story, my learnings. I also have a long way to go. I also have a lot to learn. My objective was to share some of my life learnings with the hope that maybe there is some takeaway for all of you from this, and hopefully it will stand in good stead in your own journey. So thank you very much for having me here. Their challenges, issues that they're facing, their wins, their losses. So for me, I think that is sort of deeply embedded into my DNA and shaped me to be the person I am today. Of course, many of the small wins that I spoke about in my speech, maybe my first job, my first, getting my first interview letter to an IIM, my first project. So many special moments, my first child, so I think many special moments that I can think of.
That was really heartwarming, sir. So can you tell us more about your family's role in your business journey?
I think my family's had a big impact on me. Like I just spoke about, I grew up in a family business, a business family. So the conversations were always about business, So I was very clear that I would join the family business. I think also we are a joint family. My father and his brother started the business. I think what I learned a lot of values from them. Both were very different personalities. Bringing different skills to the business, but the mutual respect that they had, the mutual trust that they shared, I think these were lessons that I learned observing them. So that's something that I learned from my father and uncle. My mother, of course, has always been a cheerleader for all of us, very supportive. And now my wife also is, in fact, we work together in the education space. So we're not just, while we are married, we're also good friends, we're also business partners. I think, so family is big part of business, and growing up in a family business, I think you tend not to separate family and business. For you, the business is family and the family is business. So that's how it's been for me growing up.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, welcome to Claret College, sir. So how do you feel being back in a college environment, and can you share some experiences from your college life that you had?
No, I think it's always very energizing to be amongst young people. The energy that is there. The hope or the faith. These are sort of attributes that you see in young people. I think it's always very energizing, like I said, to be with young people. For me, of course, I'm fortunate to have many such opportunities. We run a school, we run a university, so I tend to often sort of go to visit the campuses. Of course, it's wonderful to be here as well, seeing so many such enterprising youth. Like I mentioned, maybe foregoing your lunch, sitting here voluntarily, for an event. I think it's very exceptional in that sense.
Thank you, sir. So moving on to the next question. How has your leadership style or your philosophy has changed over the years as the company has grown?
So I think for me, leadership has also been about learning from others. When I started, I had a certain set of beliefs, a certain set of ideas of how the company should be run. Back then, maybe I was a little bit more, autocratic, not necessarily consulting other people. What I've learned over time is that it's important to sort of consult people to get ideas. Eventually the decision can be yours. But I think, people around you, have great ideas. I think it's very important as a leader not to miss out on those ideas. So today I think I take a lot more consultative approach, to business. Any big decision, I have 3, 4, 5 people who I trust, who I discuss, debate with, and then eventually arrive at a decision. I think that is something that has changed. The other thing I think is that my belief when I started was a lot in process. So I spent a lot of my initial years in setting processes right. But then what I've realized today is that I can set the best process. But if I have the wrong person, the process is of no use. So for me today, the focus is largely on the people. So I spend a lot of time recruiting people, interviewing people. Because today, I feel that if I have the right person, the process is not material. So I think that is another change in my leadership style, where I moved from a sort of a dogged belief on process to sort of a large faith in people. So these would, I think, a couple of things that I would say is sort of molded my leadership style.
So, Century Group has grown up to be one of the most successful real estate companies in Bangalore. So, what are the core values that have driven Century Group of companies to its success today?
I think the values actually have been what we've imbibed from our founders, So I think the biggest value that defines us is humility. So whatever the group has been maybe 40 years back, 20 years back to today, I think has not changed the people. People are very grounded. Even today as a group, we are very approachable, accessible, because we felt that, especially in our business, we deal with a multitude of people. When I was talking, I spoke about it. We'll have to deal with a village accountant, at the lowest level, maybe a farmer to buy the land. On the other side of the spectrum, we may be meeting like a CEO of a multinational bank, very sophisticated customers, a contractor, a laborer. So I'm saying you meet myriad number of people, but it's very important that we stay humble in these interactions. I think that is a value that has really defined us. The other value that I think that we sort of exude is trust, because as a real estate company, it's all about trust, because for most people, real estate is the single largest investment decision they'll ever make. Buying a home is the single largest investment decision most families make, most individuals make. So it's with a lot of trust that they come to us to buy a home. Secondly, when we sell, we are selling a dream. The house is not ready. It's just a barren piece of land. We have some fancy brochures. But it's very essential that we are able to translate or deliver what we have promised. So I think that trust element is very, very critical for us. So I would say that these are the two values that largely sort of define us. Of course, there are, I think as a group, we are nimble, we are entrepreneurial, many other things. But I would largely say that these are the two sort of values that really define us.
Thank you, sir. How do you motivate such a large team with the company's long-term vision?
I think it's a good question. It's very important, as you grow, to convey to people what is it that you're trying to achieve. Again, I mentioned about it. If I'm writing a line of code, I need to know what the bigger purpose is. So similarly, if somebody is laying a brick, he needs to know what is the final building. In fact, I'm reminded of a story of, three people, all doing the same work, laying a brick. And when asked, they give very different answers. The first person, when asked him, what are you doing? He says, I'm laying a brick. The second person, when asked, saying, what are you doing? He says, I'm building a building. The third person, when asked, saying, what are you doing? He says, I'm building this beautiful church for the Lord. So I'm saying, all are doing the same thing, but how they define their work is very different. So I think it's very, very critical that, we're able to share that vision with people. And I think for that, it's important that we communicate, So I think it's very essential that we keep communicating. So what we do as an organization is that at the beginning of the year, first week of April, we have a kickoff, where we address the organization, talk about what we've achieved, talk about the larger vision. We have quarterly rewards, recognition to keep them motivated. We have offsites, taking people, teams outside, to sort of motivate them. So multiple sort of also throwing new challenges. Some people are motivated by harder challenges. So how do we sort of keep giving newer and bigger challenges to people, better exposure to skills? So these are things that we continuously do. So in fact, as an organization, we have something called a Century Learning Academy. Their only job is to actually sort of keep continuously engaging with people, so that they are constantly sort of learning and sort of growing their career themselves. So I think that is, I would say it's largely communicating constantly with your, with your people.
So, real estate has changed drastically over these past years, and technology and AI is in peak today. So, what role do you think technology and innovation will play in the future of real estate?
Oh, I think a big role. Just as technology is changing other industries, I don't think real estate is going to be too far behind. Couple of things that have already taken place prior to AI has been automation in construction. Various technologies, maybe precast technology, maybe a formwork technology. So different technologies in terms of how do we speed in the construction, how do we reduce labor dependency. Because these are going to be challenges going forward. So I think these are things that have been there. Of course, on the sales side, we see a lot of innovation when it comes to customer relationship, various softwares that do that. And more recently in AI, we're seeing in terms of renderings, in terms of how the visuals are shared, instantly, or how we want a space to look, how we're able to communicate that to customers. I mean, now in sales, we use multiple sort of tools to be able to sort of demonstrate that dream to the customers. So I think it will play a very, very large role going forward.
As technology and innovation play a very important role, on the other hand, sustainability and green building, they are like the very trending topics these days. So how is Century Group integrating these into its project?
So well, I mean, like you rightly mentioned, these are things that are on top of our mind when we conceive a project. And not just that, it's also something that is being demanded, especially in commercial buildings. Now all tenants ask for it, so it's not something that we just want to do it by choice, but in a way we are forced to do it. I mean, gladly so. Of course, the cost of construction goes up a little bit, but the tenants are also happy to pay for a more sustainable or a green building. So there are, certification bodies which sort of mandate some of these things, like IGBC and other bodies. In fact, our latest, we built a commercial building in Hebbal, which is the first LEED Platinum building in north of Bangalore. So which we are very proud of. I mean, as you go to airport, many of you can see it on the left from the flyover. So I mean, these are things that we integrate today while we conceive a project or conceptualize a project. These are things that we sort of integrate and build into the design.
So what major changes have you noticed in customer preference post-pandemic?
So post-pandemic, I think the biggest change that we have seen in customers is a need for larger space. I mean, earlier people maybe were in a joint family, living in smaller homes. The biggest change that we have seen is people wanting larger spaces. The other big change that we've seen is with this whole culture of work from home that has come in. I think today most companies have some form of hybrid work, if not fully work from home, but there is some amount of hybrid. So people want maybe some sort of a study room or a office space built into it. People want good communities because, during the COVID, we all felt isolated, being alone, sitting in our house or in a room. So people want larger space, people want community interaction. So I mean, these are sort of things that we tend to see post the pandemic in terms of customer preferences.
Jumping to the next question, sir. How do you balance growth with maintaining quality along with customer satisfaction?
It's a big challenge, really. I mean, handling growth is not that easy. And which is why I mentioned that I think it's very important to have a good team. So we constantly sort of expand the team, we constantly upgrade the team, so we're able to, so we ensure that we're not falling behind, be it in terms of customer satisfaction or be it in terms of quality of the product. Then of course, like I mentioned, like our Learning Academy, we keep having various upskilling programs for our employees, partner with various construction management firms, to conduct or lead these training sessions for our employees. So we do multiple sort of things to sort of stay abreast with what is happening.
So as you had mentioned, customer satisfaction plays a major role in the growth of a company. So how does Century Group ensure transparency and trust with its customers?
So I think it starts first with a mindset. I think a mindset of transparency is very critical because if you set that right at the top, I think that flows right to the bottom of the organization. So as an organization, we are a fairly transparent organization. We're an approachable organization. We don't have too many layers or too many red tapes before customers are also able to reach us if there's a genuine problem. So we maintain one. I think we follow all. I mean, we don't take shortcuts. As an organization, we follow all. It may be the harder way, but we do what is necessary, be it from compliance for regulation or even otherwise. So there's a certain amount of trust that customers already have with us. In a way, for us, it's a responsibility we view it as a responsibility that the customers have put this trust in us. But in all our dealings, I mean, even right from the first interaction, we're very, very open about any documentation that they want, what approvals we have. So we share all of it. We in fact have a drive, we upload it. Anybody's free to sort of go there, check, do their own diligence. While many people have a faith in us, but we put it up there so people are able to just download it and do their own diligence if need be. So these are the things that we do, sort of really maintain that level of transparency that we desire.
So what factors do you consider before investing in a new location or at a new project?
Multiple factors to keep in mind. I think one is, of course, the price. At what price am I buying it? For that, of course, we have to run a business plan to understand, what price am I able to sell it. If I buy the land at a particular price, add my construction cost to it, add my overheads, marketing costs, and what price am I able to sell, and eventually am I able to make a certain level of return that we desire. I think that's how it starts really. After that, if the price is, we feel, in a range that makes sense, then we of course look at what are the neighboring developments, how is the road approach to the project, what is the social infrastructure, are there schools nearby, are there hospitals nearby, are there malls nearby, and future potential sometimes. I mean, maybe immediately it's not there, but maybe we see that in the next 2-3 years these things are going to come. There's a new airport that's coming there, or there's a new, some IT park that's coming there. So it's important to sort of really have the industry intelligence before you make that decision. So multiple factors that sort of really, frame that decision.
Sir, after taking leadership of Century Group of companies, you have taken the company to such great success. So what does success mean to you in your personal and both your professional life?
I think today success means being happy. I think it's important eventually that whatever you do, you need to be happy. Maybe 15, 20 years back, success would have been maybe measuring it against somebody else, competing with other companies. But today, I think I'm at a stage where I believe that your only competition is yourself, really. I mean, you just need to be a better person than you were the previous day or the previous year. So as long as I as an individual, I'm performing better, or I as an individual, I'm being a better human being than I was the previous year, to me that's success. Similarly with the company, as long as we are growing, as long as we're doing better than what we're doing, as long as we're improving on whatever we have done in the past, to me that is success. So again, I heard about this proverb or saying which said that competing with others makes you bitter and competing with yourself makes you better. So I think today I'm possibly in a stage where I would rather compete with myself and really measure my success against my own achievements so far.
Sir, can you share a moment or a project that you feel most proud of in your journey so far?
Many projects. I mean, it's very hard, sort of pick one project. Is asking which child of mine is your favorite, So it's not really easy. But if I have to maybe pick my first project, because it was my first project, I think there's always something with the first. So that has been something that has been for me, seeing that really come through from just being a dream, a barren land, just some drawings on a sheet of paper, to actually seeing the building come up, people living in there, using spaces which we didn't imagine that would be used in that way. I think those were very, very satisfying.
That's truly inspiring to hear about. So sometimes the plan does not go as per your. So how do you handle setbacks in your business as they come along your way, sir?
As part of life, I mean, I think setbacks are a part of life, honestly. I think you can't rule it away. But I think what is important is to be prepared. I think it's important to be prepared for any eventuality. What that means is that any plan that you have, work out to see if you've done all possible preparation to be able to fructify that plan. And then again have plan B, plan C, because you have to build in these possibilities, like you mentioned, of setbacks or things not going the way you think. So it's important, that you prepare yourself well and have contingent plans. But having said that, I think setbacks are a part of life. I think what's really important is that how you respond to the setbacks, how you bounce back from these setbacks, not really be bothered about, not get caught up with the setback, rather looking at it positively, I mean, one thing that I've seen in all successful people is that the biggest trait or quality that they have is optimism. I mean, people have unbridled optimism. I mean, these are the people who are successful. My father says, that a pessimist sees a difficulty in every opportunity, whereas an optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. I think it's just a mindset change. I think if you look at even a setback as an opportunity or an adversity as an opportunity, I think then you'll frame the question very differently. Rather than sort of really wallowing in self-pity, if you look at it as an opportunity, say, maybe this has happened for good. And I have multiple instances that I can think of in my life, where I've had such setbacks. In fact, since all of you this may be of interest to all of you, this was during my placement when I was in IIM Bangalore. I was in fact the placement representative for my batch. As such, we are responsible for handling placements for the entire batch. And when my summer internship happened, I got an opportunity with GE Capital. The good part about summer internship with GE Capital was that if you get a summer internship with GE Capital, you are guaranteed with a pre-placement offer. I mean, what they would call a final job. So it was a given. So in the past many years of IMB, whoever got an internship with GE Capital got a final offer. So when I got the pre-placement offer with GE, I mean, everybody was like, hey, great, you've got the job. Of course, that was like a business migration, not things that I would have enjoyed. It's not the sales aspect of it, right? I mean, I told you I joined Oracle, I really enjoyed the job in sales. This was business migration. But the setback that I want to talk about is that after I finished my internship, I think we were about 8 of us from IIM Bangalore who went to Gurgaon for our summer internship with GE. We came back 3-4 months later, and because I was the placement rep, I would check the emails of the PlaceCom email would all come to me. And one day when I opened the mail, I see GE pre-placement offers. I'm very excited, obviously, that offers have come. And when I looked at it, out of 8 people, I was the only person who didn't get the pre-placement offer, 7 of the people got the pre-placement offer, and I was the only person who didn't get a pre-placement offer. So you can imagine how heartbreaking or how disappointing or how shaming, I can't tell you the emotions that I went through, But today when I look back at it, for me, I think it's one of the best things that's happened to me, because I would have, one, had to leave Bangalore, which I would not have liked, the job was in Gurgaon. Second, it was a business migration role, which is not my strength. I love doing sales. I believe I'm a good salesperson, And third, I was, I got to travel a lot, Oracle sales was a great experience. I was traveling 4-5 days a week, to Bombay, Trivandrum, Chennai, Goa, as part of my role, staying in 5-star hotels, which none of my peers would, by the way, at that time, So I think if I look back in hindsight, it's the best thing that happened to me, So this is an example where you really think at that point it's a setback. But in hindsight, actually, that adversity is maybe an opportunity or it's a blessing in disguise. I think that is really, you need to have, it's the mindset with which you approach, I think, is what defines setback really,
So what is the one thing that you do to, ease yourself from all your responsibilities, keeping it all away? What is that one factor that helps you to release all the stress?
Well, I think I give sufficient time for myself. Every morning I spend at least an hour, hour and a half doing some sort of a workout, be it walking, running. Earlier I was into a lot of sport, but of course last 2-3 years I've not been good at it. But I've been keeping myself busy or fit, doing something. That's something that I do. In the evenings before sleep, I like to read. It's something that I've it's a passion or a hobby that I've developed over the years. So I like to read. It could be anything. It could be spirituality, it could be business, it could be, it was business, but I pretty much read all biographies, autobiographies, So now I don't have any book to read. So now I moved to history, I read spirituality, Indian history, various things that just sort of very, very distinct or different from what I, unconnected, unrelated to what I do. So that sort of gets my mind away from my regular stuff.
So looking ahead, how do you see your business evolving in the next decade? Any other directors or any other ventures you're really excited about?
No, we constantly keep doing this. While real estate is a large, sort of a big name, there are multiple sort of things that you can do within. For example, initial years we started doing residential apartments. We ventured into plotted development. More recently, we got into commercial developments. Going forward, we're looking to do hospitality, you put up hotels. So the different kind of asset classes is something that we will keep doing. Other thing that we're doing is that we floated a fund as well last year to enable people to be able to invest in real estate. So we have an AIF by name of Triveda. So that fund is also active now. We've done our first close with about 200 crores. So that is a line of business that we like to do. Other thing that we want to do is that now we've in fact launched a very, very ambitious township close to the airport called Century One World. It's about 135-acre development which is going to have our university, an international school, retail, commercial, plotted development, apartments, cultural, center, convention center. So that is something that we are excited to do. So I think there's no shortage of opportunities in Bangalore, and I think we're, to be honest, lucky to be in a city like this which offers so much opportunity.
And all the very best for your future ventures also, sir. Moving on to the next question. What legacy would you like to leave behind as a leader and entrepreneur?
I think I have a long way to go, to talk about leaving behind a legacy. But maybe I want to be viewed as a fair and transparent person in dealing with anybody. I think the reputation that I want really at the end of the day is that people should believe that I've been fair and just in whatever I have done. Because people may like some decisions, people may not like some decisions, but eventually as long as people believe that what I've done is with all fairness in mind, I think that is something that would have that would immensely satisfy me.
As we have young Claretines here, what advice would you like to give to these young minds who aspire to become entrepreneurs, sir?
I think I did cover some of it as I spoke, but I think maybe one or two points that if I have to sort of really elaborate is that one, don't be afraid to change your track. I know some of you are committed to commerce, some of you are committed to travel tourism, others maybe to MBA. I don't know. I don't know what all streams that you all are committed to. But let me tell you, don't worry about it. Like I said, for me, education is more about sort of shaping your brain. It's about the experience that you gain. In a way, the college is a nice ecosystem for all of you. Before you were thrown into the big bad world, I think you sort of deal everything in a smaller way here. Maybe some small politics, some small jealousy, some amount of competition. So I think it's a training ground really. So I wouldn't be really worried that I've done commerce, I need to stick to commerce, or I'm a science student, I need to necessarily do this. In fact, I've seen some chartered accountants being extremely great salespeople. I've seen computer engineers being great financial analysts. I've seen lawyers being amazing investment bankers. So I'm saying don't worry about the fact that what track of I've chosen, but keep an open mind to opportunities. Grab what opportunities come to you. Take it. Don't worry, my first job, I'm getting paid only this much money. I don't think that is important. I think what you need to be really stressed about is that is this job going to expose me to newer thinking? Is this job going to give me the sort of level of exposure that that I'm going to learn new things? I think that is very, very critical. Don't be bothered about the salary, what is the designation. I think these things are not important in the long run. So my advice would be that keep an open mind, grab opportunities, stay flexible, stay nimble. Don't worry that, this is the track I've chosen, this is what I'm going to do. And the other very important thing to my mind is that understand your strengths. I think it's very critical. Take some time, if required today, sit down, think and write down 3 strengths. 3 of the strengths, which you believe that you're really good at. In fact, at one time we did this exercise, where we, even like in a hall like this in our company, we got everyone to go to different people and ask them, okay, what do you think is my strength, So I would go to my colleague and say, what do you think is my strength? And I would write down. And in fact, it's so surprising that other people would know sometimes my strength better than myself, So I think it's a great exercise, talk to your peers, talk to your friends and ask them, hey, what do you think is my strength? Or you sort of contemplate and see what is my strength. So it's important to know what our strengths are, because that is what we'll be good at. If you're doing something which is not your strength, you're not going to be happy. If you're not happy, you're not going to do it well. Take my example of being a coder as against a salesperson. So I think it's very, very critical that all of you understand your strengths. At the same time, be cognizant of weaknesses. I think many, many people get blindfolded by weaknesses. They don't want to admit that they have weaknesses. And that sort of really gives a sort of a blind spot in them, because they're, not admitting that I have a weakness itself is a blind spot. So I think it's very, very critical to say that, hey, in my case, I'm a very bad negotiator. So when it comes to negotiating, I never go for myself. I put somebody else who I believe is a good negotiator. Whereas where I feel I'm playing to my strength, I like to be there, do that. But when I believe that I'm not good at something, I try to sort of put other people who can maybe do it better. So I think it's very, very critical as individuals to know your 3 biggest strengths, 3 biggest weaknesses. So at least in the back of your mind, you're always cognizant, saying, hey, this is my strength, and this is what I will be good at, and this is what I will enjoy doing.
Thank you so much for that advice, sir. We all will definitely apply that in our lives. So moving on, what qualities do you think is important in life as well as in business?
I mean, many qualities, but I think, like I said, I'm a big believer in soft skills, really, because today you have so many tools and technologies. I think AI is soon going to make all sort of skill sets redundant. I think what skill set will really stay relevant to my mind is empathy, compassion, people skills, storytelling. I think be good storytellers. I think very, very critical. If you want to sell an idea, you need to be a great storyteller. You may have the best idea, but if you're not able to communicate it, it's not going to be successful. Compassion. I think these are the sort of qualities, attributes which the computer can't take over. I think these are very, very critical to my mind as individuals to build. So I would really emphasize a lot on these sort of soft skills to gain these experiences over the course of your sort of career.
So, as students, we often face uncertainty about our future. What was that moment of uncertainty in your life that later turned into a turning point of your life?
Many, I think it's very natural to be uncertain. So don't be scared that I don't know what I'm going to do. I think nobody knows, honestly. So don't be worried to say that I don't know what I want to do, where I'm going to be. I think that's not important. I think set yourself shorter goals. Don't worry about what's going to happen 10, 15 years down the line. Maybe worry about what's your 1 month goal, 1 year goal. Work towards it. See how do I achieve it. So I think setting short-term goals, achieving that is important. Uncertainties will be there, but I think how you deal with it is very, very important. So some of them I'm not elaborating, but I think I've already elaborated quite substantially as I spoke. So I don't want to bore all of you by repeating the same thing.
Thank you, sir. So we have come to an end of our interaction. So we have one final question. So what is your dream? Have you accomplished it, or are you still pursuing it?
No, dreams change. I don't think the dream is also constant. I think it keeps evolving with time. As in when you feel that this is something. To be honest, if you had asked me 10 years back, did you believe that you would be where you are today? I would have said no. But having said that, if you ask me today, are you satisfied with where you are? I'll say no. Because I think life is such. People, human ambition is such. Human, goals are such. So it keeps evolving. So multiple dreams. Personally, professionally, socially. But taking small steps in my own way, trying to achieve them at any given point of time.
Thank you so much, sir. This was such a wonderful experience. I want to thank you on behalf of all the panelists here.
Thank you.
Thank you so
all.
much.
I think you all been a wonderful audience. Thank you for being patient and hearing me. It's a great opportunity being here. Thank you. Hello.
Sir, we have compiled a few questions from the audience. For the benefit of the audience, I request you to also answer these questions. The first question is from Ms. Vaishnavi of First BBAA. What is the first thing that a young entrepreneur has to do with a business idea in mind?
I think the first thing that you need to do is really do a proof of concept. Before spending too much time, investing too much money, I think do a very small proof of concept to see if the business idea is acceptable, how people are receiving it, is it sustainable, is it profitable? Because at the end of the day, business objective of business is to make it profitable. So I think my suggestion would be that start small. Doesn't matter. Be patient. I think patience is another virtue that is very critical, especially in a field like ours, like real estate, I think patience is a virtue that is very, very critical. So I think be patient about it. Don't be in a hurry because, like I said, don't look at other people seeing what they're doing and do wrong things. I think, take it slow and steady. I think eventually that itself will lead to success. But maybe do a proof of concept of the idea that you have in a small way to see if it works.
The second question is from Mr. Srujan of first BBA-C. Is there one daily habit that has contributed most to your success? If so, what is it?
I think a habit is discipline. I think, I think that anything that you keep doing again and again becomes a habit. If you do once, it's fine. If you do twice, it's repetition. 3 times, it's maybe a habit, and 4 times becomes a lifestyle. I think today, whatever I'm able to achieve is because I'm able to have a discipline in life. I think, be it about the time, I don't miss office for whatever the occasion is. Ensuring that you're there physically, ensuring that you're putting in those 8, 10, 12 hours as needed. I think doing just those basics right, I think is very, very critical. I think that eventually that habits become your lifestyle. So what you're ending up doing today, if you're wasting time, that becomes your habit, and that itself is going to eventually lead to whatever your result is going to be. So I think invest in stuff which you believe is going to actually pay off in the future. I think that make that into your habit. To me, that's been discipline.
The next question is from Ms. Vanessa of 3rd BCom B. What is the one quality that made you stand from the crowd?
I think maybe I should ask that question to others, but I think I brought a certain kind of energy. In a crowd, I think what I was able to be a little distinct is that I brought a certain energy to a room, or an optimism to the room. When people have some people have told me that when we meet you, we feel energized. So I think maybe it's the energy that I bring to a room which maybe sort of made me stand out in the crowd. I don't know.
The next question is from Deb Jyoti Roy of first BA. How do you perceive the role of extracurricular activities on one's overall personality?
Very critical. I think especially something like sports, and why I pick sports is that it teaches you many of these habits that you want to cultivate. It teaches you how to face defeat. It teaches you competition. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you perseverance. All the attributes that we just spoke about as part of our conversation, sports sort of teaches you. So I think it's very, very essential. I think it molds your character growing up. How to even face defeat, how to be humility in terms of defeat. I think many things which sports teaches you, which I think will come in good stead in your life. So I think very important. Extracurriculars is something that is very essential.
The last question is from Ms. Aishwarya from first MBA. What inspired you to enter into real estate sector, and what keeps you motivated even today?
I think the inspiration really was that it was my family business. My father has been my role model. He's been an inspiration. I've seen what this sector can do, to change people's life. And today, what motivates me is that when we are able to finish a project, deliver it to customers, the happiness in people's faces, how the families adopt it immediately, how they convert these these concrete buildings into homes, they bring life into it. I think that is what gives us satisfaction.
Thank you so much, sir, for patiently answering our questions and for enlightening us.
Thank you so much.